Sure.
And we are live. Hello world. Hello. We are here. 12 likes, 29 people watching. Same time every week. 2.5 Oyajis. You need the gong.
Oh yes, the gong.
Mr. Army.
The gong. There we go. There we go. You guys ready? There it comes. And there we go.
There we go. That means we're live now.
Yes, yes, yes. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Oyajis on Hiko's channel this week.
Yes, it is.
Exhausted. Well, you sound exhausted. You don't look exhausted. You look good, actually. You look fine. You just sound exhausted.
Thank you. I'm tired today. It's been a big couple of days for me. So the thing is, for me this week, unlike most people, I am actually working. Right? It's kind of weird. Obon, because Obon, like most people, it's in the middle of school holidays, and probably half of companies in Japan just give their employees the whole week off. But I'm at a company that doesn't give me the week off, but it's not a public holiday. So it's kind of weird. My wife is off work and, taking my son around and stuff like that, but I'm actually working quite hard at the moment. So, no, what about you? Are you working this week?
No, I've got 4 days off. I've got a lot of things to do. Like I should get into the office and make some lessons and things like that.
Yeah, but you should join the army.
I ironed 15 shirts yesterday for the first time in like 5 years.
You in what?
I ironed shirts.
You earn shirts.
I ironed.
I thought you said you earn shirts, and I would say, if that's the shirt you got.
Can you see? Can you see what? Can you see that?
Yeah, in Navy.
No. Can you see close?
Oh, there's little smiley faces there. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a happy army.
It's a happy army, yes. But even though I've shown this in videos up close, before I start the video, halfway through the video, I mean, obviously I've shown, look at this cute shirt, it's got smiley faces. People accuse me of being, how can you wear that in Japan? Really?
But I can't see it at all from like when you're sitting there normally. I don't know if it's
no, but I pointed it out. I pointed out that it's just a bunch of smiley faces. So
yeah.
People don't get it. No matter what you do. But so I'm surprised.
I see that shirt and I'm expecting you to start singing like a Village People song or something.
Did they have a soldier? I don't think they had a soldier. Well, let's see if you can name them all.
They have Navy, but they don't have Army. What gives?
They have Navy?
Yeah, in the Navy.
A sailor? Look, in India, they had a fireman, they had a policeman.
Ah, you mean in the group of the members? No, I don't. Well, I don't know if they varied it, but that's right. They had the construction worker, the bikie.
I don't think they had any military.
Well, I'm sure they had military all the time, but not as an actual member of the band.
Were they actually gay? I don't even know.
So I was what, like 4 years old, 5 years old, and they were like the most awesome thing ever. I didn't even understand that there was a debate about that till I was like 15.
They had a comic book. I mean, I think they had comic books, and they had a little like a Saturday morning show too.
Oh, then they're
like superheroes, They're pretty cool if you think about it.
So Farah Thief is saying that KDDI doesn't give their employees days off either. So screw you, KDDI. Although if you want to sponsor us, we'll totally advertise it and do anything you want. But
speaking of sponsoring, the shirt should be arriving any day.
Ah, that's right. Actually, thank you for looking after that. That's
If anyone has a shirt, if anyone gets one, let us know.
Yeah. So first things first. Let's come back. While we're on the Obon thing, tell the truth. Other than Obon is like the time of year that people just like go away to the family graves in the hometown and drink a bunch of alcohol and have a picnic by the graves. I don't really know much about Obon or what it specifically is. Do you know much about it?
Well, it's a little bit like the Day of the Dead in Mexico. My Mexican parents have told me. Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. So apparently, the ghosts of our ancestors, of the Japanese ancestors, of course, come back to visit, and for that reason, you'll often see many Japanese families will decorate their houses with a little eggplant horse. It's an eggplant with chopsticks sticking out for hands. For 4 feet and back and hind legs, and I forget I think that's it. That's basically it. So it's eggplant with 4 sticks, and that's a horse. I think, and then there's also a cow, and I forget which is which. But one of them welcomes the dead into your house, and one of them takes them back into the land of the dead. Something like that.
did not. I've never seen that before or encountered it.
Supermarket right now, you will find that they are selling the little makeshift horses and cows that you can put into your house with usually a fold-up tatami mat. Very thin tatami mat.
Wow.
Yeah, so I always like that. I like the eggplant, the little eggplant dolls.
Do you eat them when it's finished, or like, how does that work?
What?
When you're done using them as the horse or whatever, do you eat them?
Throw them away, I would imagine. Maybe you take them to the grave, leave them at the grave. Who knows? Maybe you probably take them to the shrine and let them, burn them. Oh, here's something new. You know how when you have a Japanese anything Japanese that you get, for example, you can't see. I can't show you because it's stuck to the wall. But you have something that you get at the shrine, like an arrow, a decorative arrow, right? You pick it up at the shrine at the New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Get rid of that. You're supposed to bring it back the next year and have it burned, right?
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, they're giving you can take it back to the shrine, and instead of burning it, they will accept your money, a donation, and they will give you a special packet of salt. Special salt that you can sprinkle on and then throw it away in the regular garbage can.
That's like what they put on the Kentucky Fried Chicken chips. It's actually, it's a special type of salt.
It could be. Would cause that terrible, what was it called, epidemic, maybe?
So
Did
actually...
anyone get sick?
Sorry?
Did anyone actually get sick from the bad Chinese chicken?
No. I don't. Well, I mean, no more than people usually get sick from McNuggets. But, no... There's a couple of things there. So, okay, whenever I've done Obon, I haven't actually done it that many times, but yeah, we've always gone to the family gravesite and done a bit of a picnic and put some alcohol in front of the grave and done all that sort of stuff, and you clean it up. And it's funny because I don't know about Mexicans like yourself, but in most Western countries, we tend not to hang out in graveyards very much. And it's kind of a horror movie setting, kind of. I don't think I've ever been to a grave site of. I've been to one. I've been to funerals, but I don't think I've visited that many family graves. But in Japan, you go 4 times a year, right? And when you go and tidy it up, you beautify it up. Some families like to leave a little, offering for and they'll go, they'll do a little prayer, have a little conversation with a great grandpa or whatever. And I think it's actually pretty nice. It's a nice tradition, right? I mean, I think this whole way we have this kind of weird stigma around graveyards and death and stuff like that.
You teenagers don't hang out at graveyards in New Zealand?
Not much, no. I don't think of graveyards as places that. In my life, I don't think I've ever visited a graveyard or other than in the case of 1 or 2 funerals.
American kids will go there and smoke cigarettes and hang out and drink.
Well, maybe we'll get punks hang out there or whatever, or you hear about incidents around graveyards and stuff. But it's not
tattoos,
You don't go there on family picnics, for example. The idea of going picnic.
No, we don't do that.
No. But when you think about it, and when you do it in Japan, when you have the big family reunion and it's a beautiful day in summer and they all go out and they set up a picnic around the graveyard and they have a great picnic and they're chatting and they're leaving office, they talk about how great grandpa was. It's actually quite nice. And it makes you think, well, why are we so uptight about, why don't we do that?
At our local shrine, the kids will go there on a regular Saturday and play with those. I think they're called Yuigo or something.
Yeah.
They'll play with the Yuigo cards right there, and and old people will be coming to pray, and they'll be playing the game. They're kicking the soccer ball around, or I've seen dads and sons throwing the baseballs around.
Yeah.
You're right. They take death more as a part of life than a weird, spooky place.
And you think
ghosts.
Sorry.
And they do believe in ghosts. I think more. Western.
And that's an interesting thing as well, because you think about it, it's not a Christian tradition to have ghosts. So it really is it's this kind of thing. People say it's not scientific, but there again, if it's a spiritual thing, then why is it that every single religion and completely detached remote countries will have ghosts, right? But they definitely do have ghosts here, don't they? Even though they were completely separated from the Western tradition of ghosts all this time.
Right.
But so how does that happen? Is there some sort of neurological phenomenon that people in certain states do see ghosts or something like that? I wonder how that works.
I'm going to get in trouble for this, but it's just like the same reason we created God.
Which is
we don't want to believe that this is all there is to it.
But what? Okay, but why would people
know that we're going to come back as ghosts? So
Why would people spontaneously? And remember, and it's not just talking about. No, people claim to see ghosts, for example, across totally different geographies and traditions and cultures. It's not like the Romans taught everybody about ghosts and everybody took it up because it was a nice idea. And completely isolated. I mean, I'd be interested if they find these Amazon jungle tribes. Do they have ghost traditions? I'd kind of like to know. That's kind of interesting. There's some basis for it that supersedes.
That's a good question. I did remember reading this article in some scientific magazine years ago about a particular drug that they gave to people from many different cultures all over the world, and many of them had never seen a snake or a panther before. But when they gave them this drug for the first time, it's some kind of plant, one of those like kind of thing, but different. But every one of these people saw snakes and panthers, and they think it's because this fear is bred into our DNA. We are all, yes, human beings. As the most basic human being is afraid of snakes and panthers or tigers, that kind of snake, cat-like creature. Even if we've never seen one, we're gonna imagine it, and we're gonna be able to draw it and say that's
so there can be a chemical trigger that can make someone who's never seen a panther or a snake before imagine a panther or a snake and understand that it's dangerous.
Genetic memory, and we do have maybe not humans so much, but animals definitely have genetic memory.
The animals clearly do, right? Yeah. That's right. I mean, small animals clearly understand what's dangerous without ever having to be taught it, right? That's right.
They know how to have sex. Nobody has to teach them.
I think they all just watched Blue Lagoon. They figured it out on the island as kids.
National Geographic, right? Right.
Wow. Yes. Well, it's fascinating. But you also talk about the near-death syndrome thing, right? How how people have a pretty there's a guy in Canada who's figured out a test where if you electronically stimulate a part of the brain, you can actually artificially stimulate and generate near-death experiences that are like what people talk about with the tunnel and with people that they see and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. But so point being, maybe there are little buttons, maybe there are situations in which people experience a state where they see ghosts, right? You know what I mean? I mean, maybe there is a physiological phenomenon, like you say, like your panthers and snakes or whatever, that generates that.
But panthers and snakes are based on things that humans actually had to fight panthers and snakes back in the old days.
But like I said, I mean, people have near-death experiences see things like ghosts, right? I mean, for example, they see human shapes and whatnot.
I thought they saw just like white tunnels and bright lights and stuff.
Well, if you read about it, sometimes they can see, images of relatives or something like that. Sometimes, people are, and this is something that's scientifically recorded, that people see these things. They see images of people. I mean, it's pretty, if you see panthers and snakes, it's logical that somewhere in the DNA memory programming, that there'd be something like vague images of people, right? I mean, I can kind of imagine that there's a, again, setting aside totally that there's a spiritual thing that exists of ghosts, there could very well be that same kind of programming that you're talking about. That's interesting. But fact remains, whatever is behind it, and it is fascinating, in complete isolation from Western civilization, Japanese culture at this time of year, on TV specials, and if you hang out with Japanese people, Japanese culture has fantastic ghost stories, like really scary, good ghost stories.
Yes.
And it's kind of cool. It's one of the cool things about Japan. It's probably part of why Japan does horror so well, is that they've kind of had these kind of horror movies basically in their folk tales going all the way back.
Yes.
And they're very good at telling them. They're good stories.
Yokai, right? Just a second.
Yeah, you got a yokai watch? I think you have to pay like $1,000 for those nowadays. But anyway, the whole point being, I guess, setting aside the whole traditions around death that we have, Japanese are pretty close to their death, which is it's nice actually.
I went to the yokai. They had a yokai exhibition just 3 days ago.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, a week ago, and picked up this. Oh, you can't. It's not that impressive, dude.
So is a yokai? What's a yokai? Is it a monster or a ghost? How would you define
I think they're ghosts. They're ghosts, right? And it's got this collection of thousands and thousands of ghosts. Of course, it's not a good video because you can't really see anything in this, but.
Yeah.
But they're really cool. They're really interesting. All these ghosts, and if you go back and look at some of the original geisha paintings, the old-fashioned paintings.
Yeah.
They have all these different kinds of ghosts. It's just the culture is full of it, right? It goes back hundreds of thousands of years. So.
Is that proof that there's something actually to it?
No, not proof, of course, but it's interesting, and it's really creative. It's really creative. All the different characters and creatures that they've created.
Emily Louise Maitland makes an excellent point that if you want to hear great ghost stories, no question, Unrested Channel. He does that better than anyone on YouTube, actually. And I'm talking about commercial-backed network channels included. I think he's got like the best channel for that.
Yes. I was watching just one of them today. He's lying there on his back, and he turns and he says, "Did you think I was sleeping? I'm unrested." He really gets into it. He really enjoys it, which is the way, I think, the best way to do YouTube is just.
Oh, really. He's good. He's good. He's a pro. He's better than I'm ever going to try to be.
He's working on something right now, a big project. So you should. Speaking of him, by the way, he and Michael Gillen Peckett are sponsoring the Osaka meetup this year, which is September 5th, 13th.
Don't say 5th.
September 13th.
That's right.
Excuse me, I haven't had anything to drink, no alcohol, so.
That's the problem.
Yeah, hold on. Let me break out a bottle.
Saturday the 13th, but more importantly, on the Saturday before that, on September 6th.
Yes, more important, much more important.
Much more important, the national party. I mean, you know, Osaka's going to have a party, and Osaka's cool. Osaka people are cool. That's all good. But the party that everyone travels from all over Japan to come and see, that you should come and see on September 6th, is of course the Tokyo party, which is going to be in the same place as last year. The Tokyo Sports Cafe. Information, actually I should put the RSVP information under the video information now, which I'm going to do right now.
And we have 119 people who have RSVP'd, which is already...
Is it 190?
119. 30
119.
people were last year's, and there's still like a month left, or 3 weeks left.
Yeah, you know, and if you can come and let us know that you're coming, because actually I've got to go and talk to the guy. If I think I can feel comfortable saying now that we're going to get 100 people anyway. Yeah. So if that's the case, we should get the extra space.
Oh, good, yeah. And I think you and I shouldn't have to pay since we're doing all the work. Get us two free tickets. Oh, by the way, we're going to be giving away some 2.5 Oyajis shirts, I think, right?
Oh, you're going to bring some? Okay, awesome.
Are we going to give them away at the party?
Yeah, good idea.
I was thinking I'd love to give them away, but we should make people who come do something for it. What do you think?
I don't know. You know what I think? I think we should like do a draw or something based on the RSVPs. We should incentivize people to RSVP. People who are at the party who respond to that will go into like a draw or something like that. The other thing, I actually had another idea.
I thought the people who dress most provocatively might be good.
I would like to have a dance contest.
Like last year?
Well, actually,
2 years ago we had a good one, yeah.
Better than that. Okay, here's my idea. I'm going to say it out loud, actually. Why not? So, you know, people have tried and failed at making there have been different happy videos that have gone around, and people have tried and failed. I tried to do one at the Hanami, and I messed it up. And then other people started and it failed. I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but since it's been started and failed so many times.
Did we talk about this already, or are you coming up with this idea by yourself?
By myself.
Really? I can't believe it, because I've had the same exact idea. I was going to break it to you.
You stole my idea.
No. This is amazing. We haven't discussed it, right?
No, we haven't discussed it. I'm telling you to you now. You have the same idea.
Yes, I have the same idea. If it's not out by then, we should do it at the party.
Okay, exactly.
Right? Yes.
Here it is. So now I'm going to go and send messages to demotivate other people to make sure that they don't put a video up before the party. If they do, it's going to be better anyway. But here's my idea, that we get you, me, maybe get 5 or 6 people with good cameras. We play the thing once. We have it as a dance contest, so everyone tries to do the best sort of moves, and we make sure that 5 or 6 people record it. So that we can try to get as many people, try to get everyone on the party doing a couple of steps.
Wait, so we can get in on. We want to get on it too. Come on.
Well, that's right. That's why you want to have 5 or 6 people recording it, right? So that you can make sure everybody gets into it.
I'll just put up a tripod.
Well, but then it's just going to be a fight, right? You want to make sure people get a shot. But then if you only have to play the song once, do it as a dance contest. The people who try the best and have the best moves will get a prize for it. And then afterwards, we can gather the recordings of different people dancing and put it together and make that as the video. It's an awesome idea, isn't it?
A little bit different from my idea, but yeah, equally good. If the other video doesn't get up by then.
Screw it. I think even if the other video gets up, this is going to be better.
Either way, it could be a supplement, right?
Screw it. We're going to kick their asses. I mean, that's as simple as that. And you know what? And this is totally spontaneous, but this way we can do it as a contest at the same time, right? So it can be a dance contest that we'll give a shirt away for at the same time as we're going to record an awesome video for it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Tell me what your tweak on it is, but if you like that idea, let's do that.
So for people who don't know, Hiko and quite a few other YouTubers sent in video clips of us doing our dancing
all around this room. I showed the moves. I showed the deadly moves.
The happy song. I know this is really old, but a bunch of YouTubers, different YouTubers from all over Japan, and I think other countries as well, sent in clips to another person, and this is back in, I think it was May.
I think of 2004. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
And apparently this person is still working on it. I don't know. I have no idea what's happening.
Doesn't matter. Look, the guy's busy. He's got issues. He's got and that's fine. I'm not gonna. Frankly, I'm glad now because it gives us an opportunity that if he'd already done it, then we wouldn't even be thinking about this. But it's a great idea.
At the party, I thought, well, I would just go around and ask people to, to contribute and put one together that day. But your idea is actually better and it's easier.
Yes.
We get 5 people to the cameras, and everybody can share. Actually, we could all share the video, and then everyone can put it.
We can try to get people to shoot video of each other to make sure that everyone gets a clip of each other. I can video you for a couple of steps, you can video me for a couple of steps, so we get everyone dancing to the beat, to the same music, and then I can just beat match it and put all the clips together into something and get everyone from the party or as many people as possible in it, and the people who dance the best. And you know what? We could even do it after as well. We could have from the video, best dancer from the video. We get the best steps from everyone that we collect in the video clips. Oh man, I'm brilliant. This is how videos get made. One of the unroasted is bashing on a person who we don't know. I'm not going to bash on him.
We're not bashing anybody. I'm not bashing anybody.
No, but yeah, no, we're going to do it better. Unroasted, be nice, man.
No, there's no point.
That's right. I'm glad because now as a result of that we have this awesome idea, and frankly, we're going to do it better anyway. So, yay us.
It'll be different. Apples and oranges. Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, so listen, I want you to tell me this shoplifting. I don't know anything about the shoplifting story.
The shoplifting story. I'm going to tell you about the shoplifting story. So there hasn't been a lot of news in Japan, but there's been Ni channel has been in a frenzy. Mm-hmm. So, in terms of the nerd districts in Tokyo, if you really want to get into the nerd, the manga culture and the toy collecting culture and all that sort of stuff, I know everyone thinks go to Akihabara, but Akihabara has been a little bit too, I don't know if you'd say gentrified, but it's just gotten weird. There's all the maid cafes, there's, like, people go there on dates now, there are restaurants and stuff. It's just gotten a little bit, it's a place that some real true hardcore otaku are really just not comfortable going to anymore because it's just gotten a little bit too weird there. And so for the people Akihabara has become a bit like a Disneyland tourist attraction, otaku-town. The real otaku in Tokyo, they don't go to a place called Nakano, and they're particularly an area called Nakano Broadway, which is
very famous. And actually, Charlotte in Japan put up a video just a week ago with Mime.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And that is the true otaku experience place, I mean, they've got all the, they've got the hardcore electronics shops. I bought my mic there. But they've got all the, they've got the collectors shops, the guys who bought a Star Wars figure back in 1978 and they never opened it from the packaging. And there it is in mint condition, never opened, in the Kenner box, and now they're selling it for $500 in Nakano Broadway, and there are people who buy them and stuff like that. Like, actually just really interesting. But without all the bloody maids and stupidity and kind of weirdness that Akihabara has become. And so in a shop I
kind of like that about Akihabara, but anyway, go ahead.
Akihabara's gotten too weird though. Akihabara used to be kind of, this is the point, for the shut-ins and the hikikomori and stuff like that, who like the only place they'd go out to was Akihabara because it was kind of safe, and now it's just kind of weird. Like, there's a lot of non-otaku and a lot of tourists and a lot of weirdos who just hang out there now. It's become a little bit of a kind of a parody of itself in some ways. But the real pure otaku guys, they all go to Nakano now. And so in this Nakano Broadway, there's one of the famous manga shops. If you shop for manga and you're really serious about manga, there's a shop called Mandarake. It looks like Mandrake.
Yes, it looks like. We have one here in Nagoya too.
They're all over the place. And they're like
stories of just otakudom.
Just mega store of geekiness.
And full of cool little, see the crap behind me?
Yeah, all that crap, yes.
Much better, only and 1,000 times more.
But that's so this is exactly the point I'm getting to. And there's Mandarake with new stuff, and there's second-hand books, Mandarake, and toys and stuff like that. And apparently it was in one of the second-hand shops in Nakano Broadway. They had a collector's edition I think his name is actually I think it's Iron Man. It's like Tetsugo or something, you know, like also got the round robot thing.
Japanese robot. It is kind of an Iron Man. Yeah.
Which is kind of dating back to the 1950s, but kind of a classic, you know, manga character, science fiction character, going back decades. That's kind of a real cultural icon in Japan.
Tetsujin 28.
Now, that's the one. Tetsujin 28. Go. So
I just looked it up as you were talking. I really don't know anything about this story, though.
Yeah. No, but okay. So this character, there was like a toy robot, like dating back to the 1950s in pristine condition.
Yeah, I've seen this before. Yeah, it's cool.
But a mint condition, you know, kind of toy of that robot. And apparently it was being sold second-hand in this shop for $2,500. You know, quite expensive for a little toy, but this is, you know, for real collectors to buy, right?
Yes.
So apparently, and one thing about these, and by the way, I know that people have this image of Japanese as being very, very law-abiding and, you know, nothing worse than losing an umbrella or anything like that. But there is a truth. That's the guy. You should talk so that it comes up on the screen.
Hello, hello. Here it is. Just click on me. If you click on it, it'll work.
Yeah. Well, on the screen anyway. That's the guy. That's the guy. Yeah. So without the pose, he's just standing up straight, the one that was stolen, but that is the guy. So there was a yes, that is him. So yeah, it was on sale in the shop for $2,500. Oh, so as I was saying, Japanese are known as being very law-abiding, like nothing worse. By the way, my Agano is different to Astro Boy, just as was put up on the screen. But yeah, the Japanese are known as very law-abiding, but actually shoplifting is not an uncommon problem in Japan, and particularly at these manga stores with, like, you know, junior high school kids and stuff like that. They go around and they sneak comic books that they drop into their bags and they go out. And some of these books, like, when the news was featuring the story, they were talking about, you know, the kind of a plague, how the loss of income that these shops suffer from having, you know, shoplifting of sometimes, you know, thousands of dollars per month from some of the big shops. And so all these shop owners are kind of fed up, and they've got security cameras all over the shops. And when this one guy went and stole a $2,500 you know, doll, they actually had it on a security camera. They had a good shot of his face. And so the shop owners, they reported it to the police, and the police were investigating, but they weren't making any progress.
There it is.
There he is. This is the guy. So this guy here, yeah, this guy. The police investigated, and they weren't making any progress with it. And the shop was like so frustrated that on top of all the other shoplifting that they have to deal with, that this guy, who they've got a clear shot of the face of this guy, because he stole this $2,500 single thing, they published on their webpage that this guy has currently got a mosaic on his face, and we implore him to return the $2,500 doll, that, you know, toy that he stole. And if he does not return that doll, that toy, by midnight on Tuesday night, August 12th, we are going to publish this photo on the webpage with the mosaic removed, and we're going to publicly publish his face.
Mandarakes. Sorry.
No, that's the one. So what do you think so far? So, you know, they threatened online that if this guy...
Also, the headline says, Kaishitara yurus.
That's right, Kaisha yurus.
Really? I'm impressed. He should have done... I would have returned it, I think.
Well, if you had stolen it, you wouldn't have stolen it in the first place. So,
yeah, we stolen it in the first place.
But the point is, they said if you don't return it, they gave an ultimatum that they said they don't care what the police say or whatever. That they can't. They're fed up with shoplifting, and they're going to start publicly humiliating these people by publishing his face online on the web, on the website at midnight if he doesn't return it. And this triggered a huge online debate in Japan because, as you know, Japanese. I mean, even on YouTube, right? People, there's a big sensitivity thing around. Showing your face, like your face is kind of important personal information, and Japanese are very sensitive about sharing their identity online, right? There is this idea that if your face gets on the internet, you're going to be identified and you're going to be hunted down and your life is going to be ruined immediately, is the kind of the underlying fear, right? And it actually does happen.
And for that reason, if you go to Japanese Wikipedia, you will almost never see anybody's face, even like SMAP members, even very famous people, their faces do not appear on Wikipedia because of this personal, so what's it called, personal privacy.
Right.
There's some word for it. I forgot.
Well, people cite privacy as the reason, like entitlement to right to privacy or whatever. Truth is, I think in New Zealand, image. Yeah. But it's pretty common actually in New Zealand. I think that they publish one in shops, like they'll put photos of these shoplifters, these people are being photographed shoplifting, and they're banned from the shop.
Yeah. Inside the shop, yeah. In America too.
And all the time, actually, it's not uncommon even on the news that this man, this man face caught by security cameras was robbing a shop, and if you have information, report to the police. That happens all the time, right?
Yes.
But in Japan, so the thing is that they put this thing with the mosaic on, and everyone on Nichan, as soon as they put this on, Nichan just this became the most talked about story in the news for the last few days, and all these people online were saying the guy's a criminal, he doesn't deserve any protection of his human rights or his right to privacy. And other people commented, well, no, surely it's just enough that it's reported to the police and the police are investigating it. And there's this big thing. I think the overwhelming majority of people said, well, if he's a criminal, and if he doesn't return it, then he deserves to have his face published. And there was actually a debate on the TV, is it a disproportionate punishment to put this person's face online where you can never take it back?
He stole. They got him red-handed.
Well, yes, but the idea is that, showing his face online can lead to such unthinkable and unforeseen consequences, negative consequences for the guy, that it might be a disproportionate punishment to show his face in public, which, if you ask me, is nonsense, of course, and most of Nichan said it was nonsense as well. So it got to a point that everyone, last night, was kind of building up a few hours ago, and then we're going to see the photo, and you can imagine, because you know what Nichan does with this sort of stuff, right? As soon as the face is published online, there's going to be a race.
Right.
All these private investigators and all these Nichan, human hunters,
find him.
To find him.
Address. Yeah.
The first guy to post all of his personal information online and ruin his life is going to be the winner. And this is going to happen, right? And this is the whole thing. He deserves it. He deserves it. And everyone's waiting. And it got all the way up to midnight, and the police said that it might interfere with the investigation if you publish his face, which I totally don't understand.
I don't get that at all.
How could it do anything but help the investigation, right?
Very similar case in America. 1 week ago, a man. He's got a security camera on his front porch.
Yeah.
Some guy walked up to his house and picked up the FedEx package that was sitting on his house and stole it. Inside the FedEx package were $300 earrings.
Yeah.
Instead of going to the police, he published that guy's face on Facebook and says, "Does anyone know who this guy is?" They found him, turned him into the police. He was arrested.
Yeah.
Finished. Within, I think, 48 hours or something. It was amazing.
And what we're debating about here, after something this thing worth much more money hasn't been returned after all this time, and they've got a clear picture of his face, and the police have no idea who he is. Sorry?
It must be huge.
It's not huge. Apparently, it's just rare. It's 50 years old, but it's in pristine condition.
Okay.
It's like a collector's edition, whatever. But that's just it. In Japan, they're kind of agonizing because it's considered, and to tell the truth, it is not an exaggeration to say that if Nichan really wants to get all your private information and ruin your life, their capacity to do that shouldn't be underestimated, actually. And there really is a thing as well. If they want to ruin this guy's life forever, change his name forever, they've got a lot of capacity, arguably, to disproportionately do that. But there is this kind of self-righteousness thing which comes into it, right? If you put your face online, or if you shoot a video in a school that we can identify what the school is, I'm entitled to tell the school board and get you fired. That's the kind of attitude a lot of these guys kind of have, right? And a lot of people have found this out the hard way.
Yes, they've called my school many times trying to get me fired.
Trying to get you fired from your own school.
You should fire him. You mean me? Yeah, you fire yourself.
I'll do it immediately. Thank you, sir.
I'm going to give myself a raise while I'm at it.
Yeah. Employee of the month. How does that sound to you?
Probably should have fired you right after that.
Yeah.
It happens quite a bit.
So, when they've got a guy who they're thinking about as a criminal. So anyway, it was all building up, this expectation. Everyone, and you can imagine all of Nichan's ready to show us the photo. We're going to find the guy. And it got up to midnight, and at midnight they updated the page when they said they're going to remove the mosaic, and instead of the photo, a notice came up saying that under the advice of police, we have decided to cancel the publishing of this photo, and we will cooperate with the police to resolve this investigation.
You think they're going to find it? What do you think?
Honestly, I think, if the police really want to catch the guy, why would you not publish the photo of the guy and just ask everybody who's this guy, right? If the police don't know.
I think the police have their pride about their job. They want to make sure that they're the ones who get the guy.
But the police, geez, they leak information about, investigations deliberately to the press all the time, which I'd love to get Jake Edelstein on sometime to talk about. But you talk about all of these crime cases on TV where, they go to the house to arrest the guy, but they've already tipped off the media, so the media are already in front of the house waiting for the police to come, so it's all staged, like when they arrest the guys and stuff like that.
So as leak information all the time. Because on Japanese TV they always show the criminal's face, even before it's been processed.
Yeah, well, that's
he hasn't been proved guilty yet, but they show him on TV.
Well, that's right. I mean, the police do all sorts of things. They feel like when the guy's in detention, they give a running like idea of these are all the things he's saying in the interview at the moment, in the debrief or whatever, before the trial.
Right.
You know, they try to put all this pressure on the guy to make him confess and to stop them having to gather evidence or do any actual work. And yeah, I don't know. So it's kind of like the police don't want the shop to publish a picture of the guy who ripped off a $2,500 toy. But it was this huge thing. Is this a violation of human rights, or is this a disproportionate punishment, or does the guy deserve it? That's interesting. I mean, again, I think it goes to show the extra sensitivity about personal
privacy rights
in Japan, even for a criminal, right? I mean, why would you protect this guy? But yeah, anyway, I must admit.
You know, they're kind of right. I mean, maybe that is quite a bit of a punishment, but
well, I mean, when you think about how shoplifting is normally punished, you know, I mean, it's not a heavily punished crime, right? It's kind of get kind of a fine, maybe pick up some rubbish for a week, whatever. And you could say,
do they really have that punishment?
Well, I don't know if they have community service in Japan, but I do have an image of it being a lightly punished crime, right? It's not a you know. And
maybe
so,
a fine, maybe a week in jail or a month in jail or something.
Yeah. So the social sanction that you would get from being publicly humiliated over that, while it's, I guess you reap what you sow, while that is a big part of it, at the same time you could argue, given what the legally deemed appropriate punishment is, it could be disproportionate to humiliate the guy in public. But I don't know. I mean, if you don't want that to happen, don't do it. Although, you know, I suppose if you say that, then you start getting into chopping hands off and stuff like that. You know, where do you draw the line on what's appropriate?
You know those kids. You remember the 15-year-old girl in Sasebo City a couple weeks ago? So her face will not be published, and she.
No, but she's a minor.
Yeah, so she'll be released in 3 years, maybe
before that.
Yeah, maybe.
And she'll be like what was his name? Sakakibara, the guy who murdered the Kobe kid.
Yeah.
And you know, they when they released him after a couple of years, he changed his name, changed his identity, moved to a new town, living a totally normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in a way that's a little bit too. I wouldn't feel comfortable knowing that my next door neighbor were that guy. You know? I think
that's why they changed his name.
Yeah.
That's why they put him in a kind of a witness protection type scheme,
right.
So that he has another chance at being normal after arguably a mistake he made as a kid.
Tax on him though? Do you think there's somebody watching him? I'd like to know if somebody's got his eye on him.
No, if you well, okay, you mean like from the police? I don't know. I don't know if he's got a parole thing, but I do know that the weeklies practically had a bounty on the guy, like they were all trying to find the guy. And apparently my wife was saying that there's some stories online of, you know, so-and-so knew this guy for a couple of years, and one day the guy, they were having friends, and the guy said, you know, that incident, it was actually me, and I never had any idea. Like, so, and the weekly's always trying to find a guy who's met him or knows him, and, you know, I think they've got a bounty on information about him. But he's living a quiet, normal life by all accounts. But I don't know, again, and now you get into the rehabilitation thing. Is it, you know,
I don't know. It's hard
when they're a kid and they commit a crime like this, should their lives be over because of that? I mean, when you read the details of this, it's clearly...
It's hard to believe that he can be rehabilitated. He chopped off another kid's head.
Well, as did this girl.
He killed a few people, didn't he? Not the first one.
No. The first one, he only killed one kid, but he mutilated animals. And this girl had the same pattern. She just dismembered a kid, and then she killed a real person. But same thing. I mean, you know, same behavior actually. And you do have to wonder, can they be rehabilitated? But there again, I mean,
probably not. From what I've read, but.
Sorry.
From what I've read, apparently not. I read the FBI profiler's book on this, and he went through. Anyway, it's.
Well, by all accounts, the Sakakibara guy under his new identity, wherever he hasn't relapsed, or whatever. You know, apparently he's leading a normal life. Well, actually, you know, there's another thing. You know the movie Heavenly Creatures, which is actually about a very famous murder in New Zealand. You know, there's a movie called Heavenly Creatures about two girls, high school girls, who murder one of their mothers.
Oh, is that what that's about? I thought it was some kind of summer romance.
Okay. No, it's not. It's a murder movie.
Oh, really?
And it's very similar, actually. These girls become kind of psychotic, kind of a friendship, and they're from Christchurch, which is where my dad's from.
I did see that. And one of them tried to escape. One of them was in Europe or something, right?
Well, they were both kids at the time, and they were put into reformatories for X number of years, and then they left, and they both left the country and changed their identities. And one of them was identified like 50 years after the crime, and apparently she had a perfectly normal, crime-free life as a crime novelist. She wrote murder stories. So I guess she found a way to channel it. She was reasonably successful at that. But
I can see that.
But they actually, these two girls murdered one of their mothers in a psychotic rage with a brick. And this was in a city in Christchurch in the 1950s. This was like a town with no crime, no crime. And this was a really brutal murder. So I don't know. It's kind of there are cases of people doing these sort of things as kids and being rehabilitated, but when you hear the details of what happened, it is impossible to think that these people can, are the same types of human beings as us, that they can be normal.
I have my doubts about that rehabilitation possibilities there, but.
Well, but it seems to happen. That's right. My Agnos Jason, it's not actually an early film by Peter Jackson. Oh, you know what? I don't think it's a Peter Jackson film. I bet you it's not. Although, and the early films by Peter Jackson go back to like the 80s. Although, yeah, it took a long time for him to get internationally recognized. You know what? I think Heavenly Creatures was actually, it was another Jane Campion, I think. Sorry, it was another New Zealand director. Oh no, directed by Peter Jackson. I stand corrected.
Jackson, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. And,
I have seen that movie. Yeah. Kate Winslet. That's right. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got hot girls murdering stuff.
Right.
So it was. So you have things like, but this is it. So these are famous crime cases of horrible murders, where it appears the kids went on to live anonymous, rehabilitated lives, more or less. But
But I wonder if they killed animals, because I think once you start killing animals, you're pretty much screwed. Were they animal killers?
But again, Sakagibara did, and by all accounts, he's more or less rehabilitated at this girl. I don't think these girls did. I don't know. Hey, Chica de Luna, good to see you there in Texas. Got a shout out from Texas.
Remember last week we were talking about Australia and how it's full of dangerous animals?
Yes, everything in Australia is dangerous.
When did we talk about the Sasebo girl?
Yes, I think we mentioned it briefly last week. I think it's come up.
She was going to go to Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
In September, she was scheduled to go to live in Australia for a year, do a homestay or a work abroad or something, or study abroad or something.
Well, given her kind of messed up family situation at that point, that might have been a good idea. But it kind of also sounds like from the other things, all this information comes out about what had been going on with this girl and her kind of weird behavior at school, and she was already clearly in kind of a mentally unbalanced state. I'm not sure she would have been the best homestay guest. She tried to poison a whole class at school, and she was experimenting with mutilating and murdering things.
Apparently, everyone knew about that too. That's why she had no friends.
Well, yeah. So I'm not sure. G'day, welcome to our homestay. I'm not sure that would be. Although probably her versus a few redback spiders might have been a fair fight. I don't know. And we'll never know. But who knows? I don't know. Can people like that be rehabilitated? But in any case, you talk about crime and rehabilitation, all that stuff. And what about the shoplifter guy? I mean, what a dick, honestly. What?
Shoplifters can be rehabilitated.
Well, yeah, but do they deserve the mercy? Do they deserve the mercy of the bookshop with the security camera that has a picture of his face?
He looks like he's 45 years old or 50.
He looks middle-aged. He doesn't look like a teenage.
Yeah, so
I'm doing a dare or anything like that.
He's been doing this for a while, so I think it's pretty much over for him.
Well, I wonder what it is. I mean, I can see a lot. I can imagine a bunch of scenarios for it. One, he could just be a kleptomaniac. Two, he could be a collector or whatever, trying to get it for himself. Three, he could be like a homeless. Sorry.
Could have sold it, yeah.
Could have sold it. Could have done it as a commercial thing. He could have been a homeless guy who was paid by someone to go steal it.
Ah.
That kind of thing. I mean, you look at the age of the guy. This guy could have been destitute himself and been doing this sort of thing to order. I can think of a bunch of reasons, and it's possible. If the guy's homeless, maybe he doesn't even know that online people are threatening this. I mean, that could be the whole thing. Someone could have paid him $50 to go and grab that toy, and he just did it to order. I don't know. I can imagine lots of scenarios from how this would happen, but
that'd be pretty smart, I guess. You pay someone to do it, but then he could if he gets caught, he'll just tell the police who told him, who made him do it, right? He might not know what it is, though. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not in the habit myself of paying homeless people to do favors for me. Although, it's pretty common in Japan when you have the New Year's sales and stuff like that. People get homeless people to hold places in long lines and stuff like that, and then they show up 10 minutes before the shop opens after they've stayed out freezing all night, and they take their place back.
Really? Oh, yeah. We can do that with homeless people? I should try that.
Yeah. I mean, it's and when the iPhone came out in Japan, and they had these people queuing up for 3 days, and some people just paid a homeless person to stand there for 3 days, and then 5 minutes before opening they switched spots. And I think when it got broadcast internationally, people saying, look at these Japanese people abusing homeless people you know, using them as like personal servants. But I don't know. I was thinking,
it's a job.
Is that not a win-win situation?
Right. You gotta get some money, and
I mean, they're not being forced into doing it. They're getting paid a rate that they find acceptable. The other person gets a convenience that they wouldn't otherwise get. I mean, but at the same time, you really want a society where, you know, everything gets bought by homeless people aggressively queuing up, paid by rich people. And how do you find a homeless people to pay to take a line to take a place in the queue?
Yes, well, yeah, they're all over the place. You'd have to go just ask one if you want to.
I guess you get a park. I don't know what you look online. I don't know what happens. Everyone has a smartphone nowadays.
They have internet access, yeah.
But you know what? I bet you they do. I bet you through smartphones and stuff like that. I bet you there's ways that they can find like day work and stuff like that. I bet you now that there would be a pretty high rate of smartphone use, even if they don't have a home. I'm pretty sure they'll have phones.
There's a scam in America where homeless people are begging now, and they make more money in a day begging.
Wait a minute, there's a scam. Oh, where homeless people are begging?
Not really homeless. They're fake homeless people. They beg because they make more money begging than they would holding down a job. And they live in homes and they drive cars, and they have iPhones. Yeah, if you look up homeless on iPhone and exposed.
Homeless iPhone exposed. I don't want to know what I'm going to see in the results of that.
Fake homeless man exposed by prankster. Jake Vale, he did one. LA homeless hired to buy latest iPhones. Oh, well, the same thing you're talking about. iPhones are allegedly recruited by 100 homeless people from Skid Row in Los Angeles to wait in line overnight at Pasadena Apple Store. Same thing. They got that idea from Japan. Japan was innovating in their years before. They're always the first to do.
But nowadays, you think about India. People in India, or people who have destitute people have smartphones nowadays. They have internet access. And I guess that makes being in that.
That's the next step. But I think in Japan, the telephone company is going to lose money if it becomes free. In Singapore, it's all free now. You go to Singapore, and it's free internet access everywhere.
Free Wi-Fi
Free Wi-Fi everywhere, apparently.
But for the Olympics for 2020, they're trying to have like free Wi-Fi all over the place because tourists keep complaining about lack of access about it in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting there in Japan as well. It could be a Wi-Fi homeless paradise.
Apparently, they have Wi-Fi access in Osaka in the subway systems. I heard. I don't know if that's true. Did anyone know that? Anyone in Osaka? Can you verify that?
I wouldn't want to use it, but yeah, well, it's cool if they've got it there. But
well, you got to work tomorrow, right?
I've got to work. I've got to work all this week. The man won't let me go.
Yeah, that sucks. I got a day off, but I'm going to go in and teach a class, just a couple classes.
Yeah.
And then get together with some Nagoya vloggers, and I don't know what we're going to do.
You're going to eat like miso katsu and stuff?
Having a little fun. Yeah.
And then some kishimen.
And then we've got Domatsuri coming up.
You're even listening to me.
Kishimen, of course,
yeah.
That's, I'll probably wait until Domatsuri, which is in 2 weeks. Domatsuri is a big Nagoya summer festival. Do is like in Nagoya Ben. Domatsuri, what they call that.
Okay. What is the nuance of that?
It's a big festival, just a big summer festival. The whole city is just the big summer festival.
Okay.
Pat does walk around and eat Nagoyan food in the street and drink. And
how are you on Nagoyan food? You like Nagoyan food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know. I'm like, in terms of like regional foods, miso katsu and kishimen, they're not bad, but I wouldn't put them in the top of my gourmet travel list.
Well, yeah, I guess not, but good enough. I don't know. What's Tokyo food? What's the local Tokyo food?
Well, actually, if there's any local Tokyo food, it's probably monjayaki. If you go to like Shitamachi, but you know monjayaki, right?
I'm sure I've had it. I just can't picture it in my head. Right?
Monjayaki is like runny, second-rate okonomiyaki. And even Tokyo people, they'll go to a monjayaki restaurant, and the first thing they'll order will be beer and a monjo because that's what they're supposed to order, and then everything they order for the rest of the night will be okonomiyaki, the Osaka version of it, because it's actually better. Yeah. So, food culture-wise, Tokyo doesn't really have anything to boast about, but we're Tokyo. We've got everything anyway. So,
basically the same as okonomiyaki. It's
just runny.
Kanto region.
Yeah, it's just runny. You cook it till it gets kind of all the umami, but the thing is, it's scalding hot to eat. It's kind of difficult to eat, although it tastes good.
It looks like barf, basically.
It looks like barf, which you cook on a hot plate, and it tastes pretty good. But the whole thing.
Check this out. Here we go.
Ah, that's it. Yes.
It does. It looks like barf.
Actually, that's quite a thick version as well. It's yeah. Now that you say it like that, that's going to make it even more difficult for people to eat. It does taste pretty good.
Come to Tokyo and eat some barf. All right.
Yeah, that's a local delicacy.
Yes. What do we got for next week? I don't have a guest yet. We haven't had a guest. We had a guest last week. That's good.
By the way, I was on. For those who don't know, QI Ranger, he has a podcast called Asian News Report. I think ANW or ANR or something like that.
It's a great name.
It is. Oh, I forgot exactly what it is. But in any case,
whenever I see it, I forget it's him because I think it's like some news agency.
But he gets. I mean, it is actually a professional level news podcast. He actually got I was on it for 10 minutes talking about post-World War II Japan and the future of Asia and whatever. He was asking for a roundup for 8:15.
Asian News Weekly. Is that what it's called?
Asian News Weekly. That's the one.
East Asian. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
But we're coming up, of course, August 15, the end of World War II Day, or VJ Japan as we call it or VJ Day as we call it in New Zealand. So I'm going to be on his podcast, which is going to be released for that. But he asked me who else should he get from Japan, and I said, if you want to get news, you want to get someone credible and someone good from news, I'd say get Michael Kuchek, the Shisaku guy. And he said, okay, I'll go invite the guy. And apparently he just went and invited the guy and got the guy straight on his podcast and said he's a really good guy. And I was like, oh my God, you got him on. And he's a guy I want to get on the show.
Michael Jackson Kuchek.
Is he Michael Jackson Kuchek?
Yeah. Oh no, it isn't. Never mind.
Yeah, he's just Michael Kuchek, I think. But
I don't know him.
Well, he's Shisaku. I've recommended his blog a couple of times for politics stuff, but I might get him on because he's now like a pundit. He's on like CNN and Al Jazeera and whatever every time there's a Japan news story.
Does he work for CNN?
No, he's like a MIT like Japanese politics researcher expert guy. But yeah.
And he got him on the show.
Sorry.
And he got him on the show.
Just got him on the show like that. I said he'd be a great guy to invite. He just went straight on his podcast. I'm like, oh my God. Well, we're a slightly different level of class. It'll be a slightly different experience coming on this. But I think we should. By the way, can you get that bath picture off, please?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Hi.
There you go. Oh no, it's still bath.
They prefer the barf.
I said get the bath off. Oh, it's you. I'm sorry.
But
But yeah, I don't know. That's the sort of guy I like to get a classier type of customer on sometime. We like to increase the class of the joint by getting some.
We did get Dave Powell.
We did indeed. Well, he did class up the joint for the time that he was on it.
And did you see his video today?
I did.
Yeah. That's good.
Oh, sorry.
That's good news. The books that we're going to get are going to be great books.
True. Although I must admit, you watch that video, and doesn't it drive you crazy wanting to know exactly what was wrong with the books?
That's what I told him. I said, and also he's going to destroy 1,000 books, right?
Show us the runny print. Show us the small pictures. Show us what it was. Show us the inferior quality, so we know how much better it's going to be. It's kind of like just seeing the cover, and then the guy just looking all pissed off. No, show us what's wrong. I mean, it's like a cliffhanger. But yeah.
Yeah, I asked him in the comments, but I got no answer, so I don't know what's happening.
Anyway, so I'm going to go and lie down and sleep because I'm tired. I've had a long day, but this was still nonetheless a good show, and I think we solved a lot of the world's problems today, as we do every week.
As we always do. I don't know how the world keeps turning without us, without our weekly show. Well, because we never take a break. That's why.
That's right. We are unrested. No, we're not. Unrested is unrested, and he is having.
Maybe we should change our name to Unrested.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Comment there? Thanks for watching, guys. And 75 people watching, 34 thumbs up, 0 thumbs down. I'm impressed by your 0 thumbs. I always get 4 thumbs down by.
He must be sleeping. There's Mr. Thumbs down. He's always there somewhere. But yes, I don't know. It's cool. I hope we've entertained. If you like it.
How about Tomoko next week? I wonder if she's busy.
I'd love to get Tomoko on. She'd be awesome.
I don't know if she's. I'll ask her. She's been a little reticent to come on. We do a show in Japanese.
I know I'm a bit intimidating to the females, but I think she might be. She'll be a good guest. I think she can handle the hiccup.
Hard to be in the same room.
Take it.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
And have a good week. Enjoy the rest of your Obon. Good luck tomorrow. Your work. Sorry you have to work.
Yep. That's okay. So.
Good night.
See you people later. Good night.